Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Economic Briefcase on Camnet TV. It's nice seeing you after a short break. Today we are discussing a very, very important topic. We are going to be discussing industrialization and NAPSA reforms for job creation. So if you're watching, on Facebook, YouTube, on DSTV, on Topstar, you have the opportunity to also call in or send your text messages on the numbers that are appearing on the screen. Now, before I go forward and introduce the guest, let me first chat with my brother, Mr. Njopao. How has been the 2 weeks?
Good evening, Doc. Good evening. Good evening, viewers. The 2 weeks has been okay, busy, but it has been fine. And how's been yours?
I think the week has been, very nice. A lot of things that are happening. Of course, we have the usual Ukraine-Russia conflict. We are seeing, elections in the USA. But last time I checked, Republicans were dropping some seats, but I think they are on 50-50. I didn't see any clear majority between the two parties. There's a Congo versus Rwanda issue. I hope you're following that one.
Quite heated. I think it's
quite heated. Now, before we have a lovely guest in the studio. We don't leave. We're going to introduce him very soon. Before we introduce him, this guest actually is responsible for some of the things that we are going to discuss now, and we're looking at what is happening in the commodities and money markets. Mr. Njopao, over to you.
the markets update as of today, the 10th of November 2022. So the average exchange rate, let's see how the kwacha is faring against the 4 major currencies. The dollar closed off selling at 16 kwacha, 38 ngwe. The pound closed off selling at 18 kwacha, 66 ngwe. The euro closed off selling at 16 kwacha, 26 ngwe. The rand closed off selling at 92 ngwe. Selected metal prices delayed by a day. Aluminium closed off selling at an average of $2,338 per ton. Copper closed off selling at $8,035 per ton. Zinc closed off selling at $2,890. Lead closed off selling at $2,060. Tin closed off selling at $19,875. Nickel closed off selling at $24,095. Crude oil prices. WTI crude closed off selling at $87.12. Brent crude closed off selling at $94.08. That's all we had for you on the market update.
Now we have seen that I can see crude prices have stabilized.
And the copper prices also
catching up a bit. The sad part is the kwacha slightly, shedding off its weight. What can be the,
Well, the same sentiments shared on our last program due to
the festive season.
The festive season, we recently came out of our quota, where we just recently got into our 4th quarter. People are preparing for the festive season. Some people are preparing, having their dollars ready for
to go and spend
in
last week.
Europe.
We hope you go to Zambia and Livingstone so that we can, and you export more so that we can ease the pressure on the kwacha. Now, there's no other person that can give us a genuine reason, because me and you are just speculating. And today, ladies and gentlemen, in our studio, we have Honorable CHIPOKA MULENGA, the Minister responsible for Commerce, Trade and Industry, also Member of Parliament for Chingola. Is it Chingola or
yes,
Changa?
Chingola,
yes. Honorable, good evening.
Doc, good evening, and thank you very much for hosting me. And thank you to Camnet for making this platform available for myself to come and interact with yourself and viewers.
Thank you very much for coming.
Actually, before we go further, we would want to wish
The Honorable.
The Honorable,
Yes.
happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
when I was looking at,
Yes.
when I was looking at, you know, we normally do research. This is
Yes.
just a small secret. Yeah, so I was checking. I said, hey, the Honorable is very young.
Look, I'm old now. 40 years is not young. I'm in my 40s now. So,
He's just the same year.
is it? Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, it was amazing.
We were born in November.
Yes,
Why did
November.
I pick that up? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but when I was doing my research, you know, I think for the viewers that don't know, okay, we are going to ask him who he is, but I can tell you that this person occupying this particular position actually is trained in that particular field. I just want the Honorable Minister to know that I have done a bit of some research. So I know a lot of people know you, and you know, as per tradition, we want maybe to give an opportunity to some of our viewers that may not know you. Who is Honorable CHIPOKA MULENGA? Just maybe a small brief, you know, history.
Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate, like I said earlier, even for hosting me and creating a platform where we interact with the public and the nation and updating them on what we are doing as a government. First and foremost, indeed, I am CHIPOKA MULENGA. I'm the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry for Zambia, serving in the New Dawn government under the leadership of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema. I was born some years back today, the 10th of November, from Mr. and Mrs. MULENGA. My father is a mechanical engineer. He's worked all his life in the mining industry in Mufulira. My mother was, still is, a housewife who did a phenomenal, fantastic job to raise 7 kids, 5 boys and 2 girls. The first and last were girls, then in between is us, the 5 boys. And among them, I'm the 5th. I come from, I think, my family is mostly predominantly engineering background. My father is a mechanical engineer. I come from an engineering background. My undergraduate from Copperbelt University. My postgraduate was in commerce with a major in economics, and right now I'm doing my master's at the University of Zambia. Because of my work, I'm delaying to finish it.
I hope it's not in my school, because I'll call you the morning saying, I want to see your faces.
Yeah, but hopefully I'm consistent, because I think during the elections I had to drop out. Yeah, until after then, and then I got reinstated. And I've got a young brother, he's a chemical engineer. Another one is an electrical guy, he's a technician in electrical. The firstborn, our sister, she's a pharmacist. My young sister, she's done something in the hospitality industry, and among others. I was, all my life I've lived on the Copper Belt in Mufulira. That's where I did my preschool, primary school, secondary school, until when I was selected to pursue my studies at the Copper Belt University. I left there. I joined the local government for a little while, about 3-4 months in Mufulira. And then I got an opportunity to serve in KCM. Within KCM, I worked for some time, and in the technical department, went as far as technical soup at that time. It was like a head of a department. I also served in the commercial department for a little while. Yeah, and because of affiliation in politics, I had my turn of persecution. Unfortunately, you know, because, you know, we are coming from an era where they did not want you to actively speak against the government when something is wrong. So, because they had nothing to fire me for, because I was working for a private company, Konkola Copper Mines. So, the best they could do for them, in their perception, was to punish me by transferring me from the area where I could campaign in my constituency, taking me to Nampundo, which was so far away from my constituency. But look, what they thought was a punishment was a blessing to me. It gave me an opportunity to stay in Lusaka, where there's Camnet TV, among many other TV channels now, where my publicity even went even bigger than anything else. And then I was with the NDC, with Dr. Kambwili. But we were in an alliance with the UPND. So through that, I thank God for President Hakainde Hichilema. He's got a close eye for identifying people that he can work with. So he identified me. But he did not engage me because I was in an alliance with his colleague. Until when Dr. Kambwili decided to go to the PF. I refused to do that. I said, look, I've spoken so much against the PF. They don't aspire and stand for what I've spoken against. So I would rather go alone and stand as an independent. Then, among many others, Mr. Akafumba and the president himself said, young man, why are you going to waste yourself? Let's do this noble cause together. The day I was known, and I had to say that I'm going to campaign for HH as president, for UPND to take over government, the following day I was given a letter of termination from employment. Purely, and I was told I was declared redundant. And the following day, when you're declared redundant, legally your position should be wiped off. But it was replaced. And others were telling me, why don't you sue and get some money? I said, look, I have to move on. And President HH, we
were... I was also fired in 2016.
Yeah, but I moved on. And
I don't know what I'm going to back.
Good for you. Good for you. So, but look, I thank God that I listened to the advice that many people gave. And I moved on because I believed in what I believed in. And I said, this is the right way to go. I remember the conversation I had with the president, then opposition leader. He's a simple man. He was sitting in a chair, something like this, from his lounge. And he said, you're a young man, think big. We don't have anything to give you to appease you right now. Sorry you've lost your job. But what do you want for yourself and your country? Because I was called back. I was told I would be called back at work. I was dollar paid. It was good salary. Very good. And then they said, look, we can even double it. I was called by many others. After they realized that I'm going HH's way, and I was so loud, they said, we can call you back, we can give you back. But the president said, I decided. I sat with my wife and she said, look, if they kicked you out right now, what guarantee do you have that even when they win, they'll not kick you out? So decide. I've got a job. I can take care of you. You've been taking care of me for all the lives we've been married. Now it's my time probably to take care of you. But I had so much peace in my heart.
That was a difficult choice to make.
It wasn't a very difficult choice, I can assure you. The country was in a bad shape. And I was convinced that if I was to turn back and go to the PF to betray the Zambian people, I was going to be troubled in my heart now. So I had peace in my heart because I prayed. God really gave me peace in my heart. The time, look, who retires somebody national interest at 38 years? And when they retire, look, it's so funny. Up to this day, I don't feel the pain of getting kicked out of employment. I said, it's okay. So I stayed quiet. They paid me my redundancy package and everything. And I moved on. And I was so much on the ground. Back at home, I received overwhelming support from my colleagues from the mining industry, from the community, and the party itself, the UPND. We marched together, and here we are, we formed government. But the responsibility now that we have is to deliver to the aspirations of the Zambian people. Because we did not form government to come and now start lavishing ourselves in wealth and riches at the expense of the people that we promised to come and serve. So I've come through this path. And every day I sit, look at me today here, we're celebrating my birthday, but I have to work. We are elected to serve. Look at the president himself. I even wonder what time he has to sleep, because every time he's working and he's engaging us and inspiring us to deliver more. So Doc, when you bring me on this platform, God bless you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with our people.
So Honorable, when you look at, you have now formed government, you know, they say people that are in leadership, they need to, you know, tell the people that they're leading where we're going. So yes. As far as we'll start general, you know, commerce, trade, and industry. Yeah. What is the plan for the nation? Exactly.
As much as we have a responsibility to tell the people where we are going, the people also must bear in mind that we equally have a responsibility to remind them where we are coming from, as much as they know. Because they say Zambians easily forget. But they shouldn't forget where we're coming from. And they should know where we are and where we are taking them. Under this leadership, I've been interacting with many people because I don't want to sound the trumpet for myself. People should sound the trumpet. But the most important thing is, are we living up to the expectations of the Zambian people? Where we are right now is a place where we are reforming our country. Is a place where we are attaining stability, fiscal stability, political stability, even moral stability, because we had so much moral degradation. where you could see cadres, young people in politics and other social sectors could stand and insult anybody at any time, could even stand and beat ministers in markets and places. We've gotten rid of that. There is no way you can reconstruct an economy when there is no social stability. You really need to work on that. And this is what the new Dawn government has done. In the past, Doc, you can't come easily in the opposition circles and be on this platform and walk out of this place speaking against the past government. They'll hound you out. They'll make you run over the roof of a station. That is gone. It's how come you see that the freedom of speech and everything is with everyone. Anybody can speak and speak against Hakainde Hichilema without seeing themselves brutalized by anybody else, as long as they are within the law. Coming to fiscal stability, the fight. Look, we talked about stabilizing the kwacha. We've done it, Doc. It is coming from 23. Let's not forget, from 23 to 16, and sometimes even ranging at 50. I can assure you safely that at 15.8. Because it will be fluctuating between 15.8, 16 and everything. Right now, today, you and I, Doc, will move with our 10,000 kwacha, go into a country like South Africa and others and feel more powerful. Because now with the little kwachas you have, you can buy more goods than we could do in the past. This is empowerment even to the business sector. Colleagues now can move with a few kwachas and buy more dollars, bring more products to sell. Unlike it was in the past, 23 kwacha to $1, our kwacha lost currency. Now we're talking about inflation, moving from 23% to 9.8%. This gives ability to the business community to plan. Because in the past, they'll buy products. Before they reach the border, the inflation hits skyrocket. And there was so much instability and unpredictability in how people could do business. Now today, you find that there'll be sticking prices, yes? That cannot easily come down. But definitely, you are able to tell that the price of anything that I want to do is at this cost. The kwacha is able to buy this product outside the country at this rate. This is very important. While now we start working on means and ways of creating jobs for our people. We committed, His Excellency has always spoken to say, free education should become a birthright for every Zambian. Let's be honest. You and I have had scholarships in our lives. We've gone to university where the government pays for us. And even while we are learning, we are being paid for it. It's not a luxury. Every responsible government does that to its citizens. Because to grow an economy, it's not about today. We should have a foresight. And that's why institutions like universities have been created. To say, at this university, we want to see a pool of Zambians that are so smart, so intelligent, irrespective of where they're coming from. And this is a place where we are going to harness that potential they have and transform it into reality. And how do we do it? How do we make sure that these kids that we are supporting do the best in everything that they can do? We provide scholarships for them. Every government does that. This is something that was lost where we are coming from. I'll tell you something. During my time, there was 100% scholarships. Bursaries, you go to study, they even pay you. It was withdrawn from the children. And we promised when we were in opposition, I remember vividly, Hakainde Hichilema, son of this soil, saying we'll give it back. And people said it cannot be done. Now he's gone beyond that, where free education has been given. From early childhood, not grade 1, from early childhood to grade 12, where nobody pays a dime. Not even exam fee. Right now in my constituency, my heart bleeds when I see companies saying we cannot employ some of your youths because they've got no grade 12 certificate. 12 years, actually 11 years from now, no Zambian child will be absent of a grade 12 certificate. Therefore, every Zambian child will have now a basic qualification to get a job in any decent institution. These are the things that we are providing. Education, employment itself. In excess of 40,000 civil servants are in employment. I refuse when people tell me that you have only employed 34,000 teachers. It's beyond that, Doc. I can assure you, we are talking about 51,000 teachers recruited during this. Where is the 7,000 teachers coming from? The private sector. As Minister of Commerce, it's my responsibility to see how many have we employed, how much have we created job pools, and how much have we created to take into the treasury of the country. I looked at how many teachers were employed in the government sector, in the public sector, from the private sector. 7,000. So even from the 34,000, we've got 7,000 that left the private sector to join the government. So 7,000 jobs were further created in the private sector. So those teachers that were on a waiting list never had jobs. Now they can get jobs in the private sector. These jobs were created, 7,000 were created because of this 34,000. And this is what we are doing. We are not ending there. In the security wings, among many others, we should ask ourselves as Zambian people, why are these jobs coming now? Where were they all this while? Misuse of public resources, misappropriation of public resources, and even distribution of public resources. And that's why this regime is focused on and centered on one thing. It's not about a minister to be wealthy. Because look, a member of parliament like myself, later on a minister, we were small gods. They were small gods. If I go to my constituency, everybody will be excited by MP by Saturiemo. Because they could move with sacks of money behind their trunks and queuing people tantamen to Liemo. We don't want that. It's not sustainable. That's why now that money should be given to people to get jobs and have a livelihood and a pension.
Honorable, from the side of the state, you've elaborated the types of jobs that have been created and what. The role, or one of the roles of your ministry is to ensure that there's, to do business is very easy for citizens.
Yeah.
Of course, we run small businesses here and there, and we try to play by the book.
Yeah.
I'll give you, for example, in one of the fields where I do one or two things, just to do fire license, health certificate, it's 8,000 kwacha.
Yeah.
Just annual renewal of a license is 10,000 kwacha. Then NIMA, pay as UN, all those. And just compliance itself, there are some times when we can say maybe we are going to be getting an accountant every quarter to help us with taxes, but just compliance itself now for small businesses, you need an accountant. You need to, why can't you, when are we going to reach or what is government now going to do to ensure that I don't need to go to 9 million places to be compliant? Because if compliance becomes difficult, it's very difficult to do business. So in terms of doing business, when are we going to see the cost going down?
Doc, thank you very much for that very important question. These are issues that we've spoken about as a New Dawn government. Lower cost of doing business. And I can assure you even now, and that is a domain right in my ministry. We do not take pride as a government to taxing people. You can never develop a government, an economy through taxations. You build an economy through setting up businesses that will in turn itself create taxes, create jobs, and more money will go to the treasury. It is the more reason why you have seen we have removed this boho tax. We have removed this withholding tax at a certain threshold. We have removed several taxes to allow Zambians to set up businesses. How do you sink a boho and you get taxed when government itself has failed to provide a service? Do you know why people sink bohos? Because government has failed to take a service there. So they use innovation and do that, then you go and start charging them. You don't do that. You only have to charge them for a boho if they are seeking it for luxury. Not because it is an alternative. You have failed to do that. Most Zambians are yet to start having financial stability. But in the interim, while they don't have that financial stability, we see your father and my father retire. They line in a queue from 2006 without getting paid. We are dismantling that. It is also part of reconstructing the economy. While we pay them the retirement package, they've got no business to do. They haven't been doing business. So what do? They'll set up a 1, 2, 3 bedroom house, which on a monthly basis they can be getting 3,000, 4,000 for their sustainability. A government goes there to say, why is Irubinda's father getting this? We start taxing you. You haven't created alternatives. Allow people to breathe and have a livelihood. We've withdrawn that. It is also going, what we have done, like in these business registrations, like you've asked me, we are still working on that one of how we can seriously withdraw those funny taxes. What we are doing at patents and companies registration, which is PACRA, number one, Zambians used to move from Shangombo, Mpika, Chingwela to come into Lusaka just to register for a company or go into Kitwe. We've removed that now. You can do it from the comfort of your home. Now everybody, most of the people have got smartphones. PACRA is there, linked with ZRA, NAPSA and everything, just from there. Provided you've got scanned documents, you just have to link there. A company will be registered right from the comfort of your phone. You remove the cost of traveling and being in a queue and getting these so-called agents who will say, let's register for you, and they'll dupe you. That is one aspect that we have overcome. Now the other second, because these licensing fees were used in the past as agencies where to recruit cadres who can't do any works. And you create a pool of them. But even when we come, yes, it is their opportunity, unfortunately in the wrong way that they came on board. So we just can't cancel those jobs and kick them out. We really have to find a way. What do we do with these young men and women who found an opportunity in the wrong way to get into these systems? We need to find something for them to do. While we just cut them off to replace their offices with something that we need to do. But one thing that we are doing is a single licensing window that we are coming up with, so that when you, Doc, come up with a company that you want to set up, much of your capital will not be spent on registration. Because we have seen most small and medium enterprises spend their capital in licensing fees. And I used to see 3, 4, 5 years down the line, the Daily Mail, Times of Zambia, or other media outlets could publish thousands of companies cut off because they have not been declaring their annual returns, among many other things. The New Dawn government, we are not interested in cutting companies. What we did at the ministry was to engage in investigation. Why are thousands of companies that are registered not functional? Our survey tells us that much of the capital was invested in registration. So now they sit domiciled, start looking for revenue of how to start raising another capital. Our focus is not to cut them off. Find out, why has your vision gone? Why are you not operating? How can we help you as a government to get started? And it is the more reason why even the CDF, it's a legacy that is big. If Zambians harness it very well, it will help lives. We are pointing figures at them in the loans that are provided by CDF, in the grants that are provided by CDF. Every citizen should take advantage of that. Other than that, the Citizens Economic Commission, managed by my brother, Honorable Elias Muganga, it is another opportunity where we just need to apply, go there, get business, and start functioning. Among many other avenues have been provided, but definitely we want to limit the number of licenses. That's why my executive director under the Business Review and Regulation Agency, BRRA, right now she's working around the clock to see to it that licenses are limited to a barest minimum where it will be the easiest thing to do, registering a company in Zambia, and you start working.
Honorable, you mentioned about retirees having to be cleared.
Yeah.
And of course, as an economist, I know that when you pay retirees, you provide liquidity to the economy, yes, and that is a source of investment funds. The government recently announced that there are going to be NAPSA reforms. I think those issues are now in Parliament with the amendment of the NAPSA Act. Yeah. So maybe you can just shed more light, to people that might not understand what are the reforms all about and what are the benefits of the same.
Doc, you've asked me a very important question. Much of it, I will allow my colleague, the Minister of Labour, my sister, Honorable Tambatamba, to come and deal more with it in depth and the specifics. But I will deal with it from the commerce point of view, the economic point of view. I was very surprised to see some certain sections of the opposition political leaders saying this is something that UPND is using for a political stance and it will never take off. We're a government that is fulfilling the campaign promises we did. Zambians, you need to have a checklist where you said, what did Dakainde say when he was in opposition? Did he say you provide free education? Ticket. Did he say you employ teachers? Ticket. Did he say you get your midterm gratuity is going to deliver? Ticket. And they say it is a failed project. How is it a failed project? They used to laugh about the education system saying teachers, pupils are sitting on the floor. This is a failed project. Doc, what is good? Sitting on the floor and attend the class? Or sit at home in your house where your parents cannot afford to pay for a school and grow if on teen? What is good? I would rather go to class barefoot like Akainde was going to class barefoot and attend an education. Tomorrow I'll be the economist like you are, Doc. Tomorrow I'll be the minister like CHIPOKA is. Tomorrow I'll be a journalist like you are. Even if I went to school barefoot. But we are overcoming that teething issue of pupils sitting on the floor. Me as member of parliament, with the CDF that have been given and the ability that have been mandated by the people of Chingola to lobby, today in 1 year, brand new classes built from ground. 13 classroom blocks have been built. In excess of 650 new pupils that are in classes are sitting on desks in a class. That's the responsibility we have. Now, coming to the NAPSA issue, how is it going to support the economics of this country? My brother, we, the New Dawn government, are people-centered leaders. Me, as a member of parliament, I will get my midterm gratuity. Even after the end of 5 years of serving, I will be paid my gratuity. Have you ever heard, Zambians, ask yourselves, when did you ever hear MPs, politicians, protest that they have not been paid their midterm gratuity? Zero, because they are paid. Did you even hear them say, we don't want midterm gratuity, keep it for us because it will cripple the economy, or we are going to waste the money? Zero. We always get it. Why should it be us politicians getting the midterm gratuity and getting the pension on time? That pensioners' money, which we are being supported by the people that are working, yet the people that are financing the politicians themselves, we cannot have the decency of giving them in the same measure that we get, within the same time frame. What is good for politicians should be good for the people that we are serving, even better, because them they are serving, they are producing for us. It is the same thing that Haka in the Ichilema, the New Dawn government, want to do for the Zambian people. We want, because listen, my brother, the lifespan for the Zambian people is very short. Most Zambians, I'm talking about who have stayed from 2006, no pension. Others have died not even having a smell of their money. Others, they get it 2 years down the line, they die. But we want, while you are strong and in service, you are working, you should have access to your money and invest it. Some opposition leader was saying, Zambians, this money will be put to waste. Look, if you waste your midterm gratuity, then you have learnt your lesson. Once beaten, twice shy. You are not going to waste your final pay. But why are you going to put it to waste when we've got eloquent and well-learned men like yourself, Dr. Lubinda? That's why this government is investing in people like yourself for financial literacy to people out there working. So when they get their midterm gratuity, they invest it well. It goes probably into house, real estate, into other business ventures. It is good. While I am working as a miner, I've got a business running.
I'd like to admit that I was one of those that said, don't give NAPSA.
I remember you
are by the end of this program, you convinced me.
Yes. So you see, Doc, yes, and it is the reason we should give our people. Doc, I can assure you, the biggest reason why we find that people, when they retire, they get their pension, it doesn't work very well because they had spent all their working life depending on a salary. A lump sum confuses. It doesn't really work very well because they have not been exposed to it. But what we want to do is, Doc, look at our economy right now. All successive governments under the Zambia Development Agency bill, all that has been there has been foreign direct investment focus. We want local direct investment focus. Once we start giving our Zambian people access to their money while they are saving, Doc, we are talking about partnerships and joint ventures. Foreign companies come and say, we can't partner with you, but they don't have the money. But Doc, if you get part of your money, let's say 500,000 today, I get 600,000, he gets 700,000. Between us, we've got over 1 million kwacha. Yes. Even a foreigner, when he comes, we say, we come together and we partner. We can go and partner with him because we've got the liquidity. It is empowering Zambians to have access to their own money. So it is.
There's some public discourse that is going around saying the 20% is too low. To have it as partial payment. Why can't it be 40% or above 35%?
This is it. There's nothing that will ever be done and everybody will say this is good. If we start, let's say, 50%, we need to see how it works. We need to see how it materializes. And we are just starting. By the way, this money that we are going to start has been invested in long-term investment plans. So now we have to withdraw it, and we can't withdraw it at once. We should start gradually. So the 12% is good. Imagine like me, when I left the mines, I was given, converting to kwacha must be more than 2 million kwacha. 20% of 2 million will be about 400,000. Is it? Yes. If my math is, yes, it's about 400,000 kwacha. 400,000 kwacha I'm given today. And tomorrow I know I'll get paid on average, let's say 10,000 or 15,000 kwacha. That 10,000, 15,000 kwacha will sustain me for the month. The 400,000 kwacha is good to get into an investment, even if it was 200,000 kwacha. So, in my opinion, I think I can't say it's too low, because in the first place, it was never there. Now it is there. All I have to do is prudency in managing those finances. So my fellow colleagues, Zambian people, I think now we have an opportunity to have access to liquidity that we have always hoped to have and we have never had it, and invest it into the right things. I want to take a plea to the most Zambians, do not be like CHIPOKA, who is so driven into driving fancy cars. You know, it was a very interesting time. The president has always spoken against buying these big SUVs and everything. I was telling him, Mr. President, the car I've inherited is a wreck. I need to replace it. So we were doing this business forum. I got a V8 and I showed him, I want this. He said, Minister, what's your problem? If you want that V8, stop being a minister, go and start doing business. And you buy it for yourself, I've got no problem. We are here to serve the Zambian people. Pensioners have not been paid, you want a V8. Civil servants were never getting paid. You know, look, under the new Dawn government, colleagues, where we had local government officials not getting paid, when they complained to say, pay us, we saw in Kabwe, we need to be paid. An MP, a minister, unleashes cadres to say, we'll break their legs, they'll break their legs. We don't want that. Civil servants must know a specific date when they get paid, and it is happening.
I would like you to Chingola.
Take me.
Before you go to Chingola,
yes.
just one more on the same NAPSA partial withdrawal. So a lot of people say they want their partial payment so that they could maybe, most of them would say, I would want to start building my house, because I wouldn't want to start building my house when I'm retired in my old age. But a lot of people want to focus more on NAPSA package without focusing on other institutions that can provide these like ZNBS and all these other national housing. What is being done around that?
Oh, okay. I like your question. Actually, somebody asked me to say, don't you think you will cripple the banks when NAPSA start paying people, because they will not be borrowing from the banks, they'll be getting their own money. It's the same thing that you're asking me to say. Financial institutions which are like National Building Society, we're supposed to bid for people, they will now lose business because people will be bidding for themselves. On the contrary, this aspect of partial payment will actually grow the scope of banks, will grow the scope of these National Building Society agencies. I'll tell you, I'll start with the banks. Nobody will get 400,000 kwacha cash in their hands from NAPSA. Zero. It should be deposited in their account. And nobody will go on a daily basis, on a single day, to withdraw the 400,000 kwacha and keep it at home. It will be kept in a bank. The drip feed, they'll be withdrawing to invest it. So now banking sector in Zambia will grow even more because they'll have more liquidity coming in from NAPSA. And the bank now will have the ability to start even lending to those that have not qualified for partial payment. The economists, you know this. It is the same, the banks now, that will have more customers. You will see banks now will start even going to institutions and telling people, can you come and get a loan? Because money is available. Now, coming back to those institutions like building societies and the others, now they should seize the opportunity. Because now people have got liquidity. These now should migrate into just sitting and talk so we can bid for you, and reaching out to them to say, we have got a plan to build from, it's a turnkey project. Yes. All we have to do is pay us at this milestone. So this business agents will grow. Because of the liquidity that is coming, it has never been done in this country where we are going to have a huge inflow of resources.
So what would be the effect of this withdrawal from on NAPSA's side? Because we will have a number of people withdrawing their money.
Yes. I'm going to withdraw the first. Where I'm sat here, I even know where I want to take my money.
Yes, so the effect on the on NAPSA as a pension fund.
Listen to me, colleagues, and listen to me right. NAPSA will not be crippled. It is the reason why. Why did we strategically think? And the Minister of Labor is going to ably explain this to you, but from the economic point of view, because industry is my portfolio, and NAPSA is an industry as well. Yes. I should protect it. That's why we've started with a 20%. And everything has been put in place to make it that it stands. I will ask you a question. Who has felt the presence of NAPSA in this country years in succession? Zero. Because the same agency you're talking about has not been paying pensioners for many years. The same agency you are talking about, in the past, it has been building structures all around the country. Which pensioner has bought from there? Nobody. Few businessmen, most of them even foreign nationals, buy. While you who pay pensions spectate. But under the new Dawn government, the leadership of my sister Brenda Tambatamba is restructuring how NAPSA thinks and does business. While we pay, look, thank you to Brenda, pensioners are getting paid in collaboration with the Minister of Finance. Have you heard NAPSA releasing employees because they've paid people? Have you heard NAPSA downsizing labor force because they've paid the pensioners? No. We have to reform and use the people's money prudently. These people, on a monthly basis, they contribute to NAPSA. So NAPSA has kept their money. And they should have a plan to say so much and so much people will be retiring. We should qualify these assets into liquidity so that we pay them. There should be a plan. And NAPSA is now being innovative on how it sustains its businesses and even grows its portfolio while it pays the Zambian people. It is not right for Zambians to work for 30, 40 years and yet you hold back their money. It was embarrassing for me as a Zambian to see my grandfather spending days at the Vice President's office, at the Justice Minister's office, not getting paid. That's why it is embarrassing. And it is wrong for opposition leaders to say this NAPSA thing cannot work. Even a politician, it's not right. What is good for us, we want it to be for the Zambian people as well. So
I'm now living, I've passed Chambeshi, I've entered Chingola.
Amazing.
And in Chingola,
welcome to my
there's KCM.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Before that, I was at Mopani, I passed through Kankoyo.
Okay.
These two, this industry, I know it, Mines and Mineral Development Ministry, yes. Mines and Mineral Development, that's how we are calling it.
Yes.
Now. I know that's their portfolio, but it's also industry.
It's an industry. It's my industry.
Yeah, so yeah, that's your baby. So what is the future? I read on Facebook today, is Honorable Mausamba says we are losing $2 million a day. Don't know where he got the figures from, but he mentioned it. Mopani also posted losses. I think they contributed to the losses for ZCCM IH group as a whole. So where are we going? KCM, are we giving it to Vedanta as speculation? I know on social media there are some rumors of some MOU. I haven't had time to look at it, but are we giving it Vedanta? Are we going to, what are we going to do with Mopani and KCM?
Okay. This is a very, very good question, and I want to urge the Zambian people to be very careful with how we use social media. There was a time when I was quoted by social media saying that Zambians are shunned to be given jobs by foreign companies because they extort prices. I never said it. But I received scorn from cross sections of society. How could you speak like that? I said, can you prove it? I said it. So that's why we need credible media like Camnet, ZNBC, and others to be sources of news. Because you see anything. What the president said and the Minister of Mines, I don't want to dwell so much on it because there is a line minister who will come to this platform and explain more. But because I sit in cabinet, I can just touch a tip on it. But if about its existence, I'm Minister for Industry, then I can talk about it. But much of what is at play right now, the minister himself will come and tell you. But no time has government said, we are giving this mine to this one. The president was clear in South Africa. He was clear even in Zambia, as was the Minister of Mines. There is no way you are going to get to dispose of KCM without talking with Vedanta. Because legally, Vedanta are the owners. We all know it. In opposition, Hakainde Hichilema is on record saying the liquidation process is wrong. Doc, you know this. In opposition, he was saying we should have not brought in liquidation. We should have brought in a business manager if there was a conflict between government and the management of Vedanta. I worked for KCM for 15 years, all under Vedanta's rule. The other 2 years was only under the liquidation during the PF rule. During the reign of Vedanta, when I joined in 2006, Mwanawasa was president. I was getting paid in kwacha. But we got paid on time and a lot of incentives. Contractors were getting twice, on the 1st and the 18th of every month. When Mwanawasa died, Rupia Banda came on board. Yes, they are still strong. The moment the PF came on board, mark this and don't lose it. It's about the government that is in place and how it manages investors. Mwanawasa never allowed Vedanta to slip his fingers. He held a grip on them. Contractors and suppliers were flourishing, Doc. When PF came on board, with working hard and everything, I was promoted. I went into a management criteria, which I was getting paid now in US dollars. Vedanta, or whoever on the mine, started testing that government. They stopped paying the contractors on the 18th, but they only started once in a month. Government never said a word. They stopped paying them. In 30 days, they went even 60 days, 90 days, even not even paying. They were in bed with the past government. Any investor would want to do business free of charge. Because now the Zambian people, including me who worked there, I complained about the behavior of the PF government in relationship with KCM's behavior. They started losing popularity. Without even doing due diligence, we saw the head of state making an announcement on radio or on at the airport. Our marriage is we are divorcing and we are taking over. The following day we had excited police officers with guns. We are working in offices. We say we are taking over. On what grounds? Just to win an election. The people they were in bed with, the same government that allowed them to be as loose as they were, the reasons they took them to court were so flimsy. Time and again we said, President Akainde said, this is a wrong thing. The cases are not very so strong. Can we think outside the box and do this, manage this resource very well? That's how they went. When they went away, the past almost 4 years now, that we have been in liquidation, what did we do? See, cadres running on that asset, and it started just going down. When we took over, consistently, the president said, this should not have been done. But how do we do it? We need to bring the rule of law in place. We need to engage this same investor on how we manage this resource. It's either they exit or we find an amicable way to resolve this asset. Because KCM in its current state, I'll be very honest with you, it is deteriorating. There is no capex. There is no reinvestment in it. We need to recapitalize the asset. The water levels are rising. Some other production areas are closing because of the case that we have. And we, like it or not, Vedanta must be engaged on how best we get the asset. I'm the minister responsible for investment. All the people that want to come and invest into that KCM are telling me as minister for investment, can you get rid of the legal impediments you have with this owner so that we can come in, or else everybody has walked away until the legal aspects are done. And we are very transparent. We are engaging Vedanta on how best we can resolve the KCM challenge. Our focus is not Vedanta. Our focus is the KCM asset. Why the KCM assets? We've got employees who have gone for many years without salary increment, without improved conditions of service. We've got an asset where which is based in a community where no corporate social responsibility is being seen, where the business entrepreneurs, the business community are not doing business with the asset because there's nobody to pay them. That is our focus. So who we bring on board, whether it is the same Vedanta or a new investor or anybody else, should focus on improving the conditions of service for the people, the community, and giving life to the asset. So to answer your question, Doc, we are in talks with Vedanta to see how best we can get the asset functional, not in talks to say we are giving it back to them. I'm sure you've understood. It is the more reason why we say, look, in court, Hakainde Hichilema, I keep talking about him because he's the one who is inspiring us to do what we're doing. Nobody knew about who HH was before he became a politician. But he was doing business at a large scale. And he had serious issues with his business partners, but they resolved them around the table outside court. Because in court, you can perpetuate all the cases.
Yes, that's very
yes, and you will never find a lasting solution. If the cases were so simple, why for the past 3 years haven't they been resolved in court? But we've decided, can we talk as partners and see how best we can resolve this thing? And that's what we've decided, and we're in talks. And it's in the best interest of ourselves as a Zambian people, so the asset gets functional. Mopani is also being discussed to see how best you can deal with it. The Minister of Mines has been clear. The deal that Mopani government of Zambia entered with the previous owner was so wrong that it is like enslaving the Zambian people. We need to get out of it. We need to find a good equity partner whom we can work with. Very soon, an announcement will be made in due time. I will leave that preserve to the Minister of Mines, His Excellency, and also the Minister of Finance and other ministers who are working on resolving this issue. But all I can just tell you is,
on the cover belt, no one is renting because the mines are not working. Let's hope that announcement will come.
It will be done. It will be done. One thing I can assure you is this is a very responsible government that is acting in the best interest of the people. Abantu bachula. I even feel like I've betrayed my very own people. The mine where I was working, it is not yet resolved. We need to resolve those issues. People have worked for years, no salary increment, no conditions of service improved. Contractors that are supplying there, others are not being paid up to now. We need that man revamped. Imagine Vedanta was good when Manawasa was there. They only became bad under this regime. Whichever investor comes, do you think the way disciplined and strong the president is, they can misbehave, or anyone can misbehave? To be done in the best interest of the Zambian people. If he was not disciplined, he never got an V8. I've been driving a V8. Could have seen my ministerial government vehicle. If I'm going to buy a V8, it should be from my own money, not from people's coffers. Until I pay you by your pension, then we can say we've reconstructed the economy. Now let ministers also buy this. But in the interim, we need to serve the Zambian people.
Okay, Honorable. Speaking of the mines, first before we speak of the mines, maybe we speak about industrialization, which is in line with your ministry.
Yes.
What is the agenda, the New Dawn's agenda around industrialization?
Thank you very much. Value addition is something that is critical. And it is right here where we are. What we see, when I was young, this fiber that you used to make these chairs, we used to call it inkampa. In English, you call it fiber. This fiber, we could have easily been skipping with it. It dries and we throw it away. But through innovation, here we are sitting on it. The timber license, trust me, I talked about the ZDA license. Zambians have always been saying, why are governments always giving incentives to foreigners but not the Zambians? These multi-facility economic zones, they sit under my ministry. It is wrong only to give multi-facility economic zones to foreigners because all the brilliant incentives are there. But Zambians, you charge them the taxes. Now, under the leadership of New Dawn government, I want Zambians to also sit in the multi-facility economic zones. I am very happy that under this leadership and me as minister, we've got Java Foods, Zambian owned, Monica Msona, to set up in multi-facility economic zone in Lusaka South. Land, anyone, no, she can't find land. And I told the CEO, you will find land for her. This is a Zambian company we are seeing to set up there. We've got Trade Kings also setting up there. Even you, you will need to set up there. Set up a company will allow you to enjoy the benefits. But how do we legislate this? The legal framework. Zambia Development Agency, we are reforming it. And we did the third bill in Parliament. I hope it comes to Parliament to full effect. Because now, listen to the Minister of Finance. Incentives have been given to anyone, not a foreign national alone. Anyone who wants to set up an industry, manufacturing sector, first of its kind or in a certain fashion, zero-rated products, you can bring in, even if you're a Zambian. Because it was never happening. For Zambians, it was tax, 16%. Foreigners, 0. How do you grow an economy without bringing Zambians on board? To grow an economy, you need the locals to be part of it. It is the more reason why in the timber industry, the president said, I am cancelling all timber licenses that are owned, because they were all foreign owned. You know what was happening to Mukura? Only foreigners were trading in it other than cadres. But now he cancelled it, and he gave my brother, the engineer, Minister of Green Economy, to give now these licenses to Zambians, and he has done that. Now these licenses we are given to Zambians, that's how pro-Zambian we are. Now these licenses that we have given to Zambians, I'm pleading as minister responsible for commerce and trade. Do not sell these licenses now to foreign nations, because they are now saying, can I buy that license? It will remain in your name, but let me trading with it. I can give you $200,000. They'll give you $200,000. Tomorrow you go and buy a BMW, which will start even demanding for money more to feed it. Don't do that. Go into partnership with them. Go into joint venture. The asset of timber is yours. The land is yours. But what you don't have is the money they have. They have the money, but they don't have your timber. So there's a win-win situation you can meet somewhere. So that when you have this timber, as long as the license remains, you also be eating with them. But what do? We are talking about setting up plants where we can make our own timber, our own desks, our own window frames, our own door frames, our own trusses for roofings and everything. That is where value addition comes. When we talk about supply of desks, it is an industry, my brother. As small as it may seem, but we say God blesses humble beginnings. From exporting logs to other parts of the world, now we want that timber and those wealthy foreigners who are coming to partner with Zambians and set up processing plants here. We are proud of what Sikale Woods is doing. We can do more.
Honorable, just on investors, I know your focus. Of course, I've also been seeing about that. We need to make millionaires among us Zambians. But we also need to understand that if you go to South Africa, for example, there are a lot of foreign investors. As we are talking, somebody can sit on the laptop now and open a company. Within 7 hours, they have been given everything. They can even open an account without even going to South Africa. But when you look at Zambia, for example, yes, we need to empower the Zambians, but there are also foreigners that will come. We have Lebanese, we have the Indians, we have the techs. Those people come and bring money to our country. They open businesses. I know maybe some viewers might not want this to listen to this, but they open businesses. We know them. They employ our sisters. If it's cafes, it's manufacturing. Why have we made it very difficult for them to get work permits? What? Because my understanding is that when FDI comes, it comes with jobs. Even if they employ 3 people, I don't care. So long that there's industry. If a person works from there, the little money that they get, they can also start a small business there. Maybe other Zambians reported. Are we seeing, maybe, because the reason I'm asking, I've seen the waiver of visas. That is a very good, we are not a developed country. We are developing. So if you told me that, let's go to Seychelles for tourism and I have to pay for a visa, I won't go there. Why should I be paying for a visa when Mauritius is saying come, everyone else in the world can come visa free? Are we seeing a situation whereby even we have identified people that want to come and invest in our country? How can it be easy for them to come and get investor permits? The laws are there. But I was talking to a certain colleague who says, look, as a colleague, they want to bring in 500, 600,000. They have been waiting at immigration for the last 6 months. And I can be very honest with you that permits, there's an e-permit that they call. People are paying on using card, but those things are not coming out. This is not a problem that started yesterday. It started a long time ago. When are we going to more like marry our visa policies with our business? I know you as a person responsible for industry, you want that to come. But other sectors, other ministries are holding on to that. They are making it very difficult for people to maneuver.
Okay. Doc, I will answer your question in a very interesting way. And I will build a case to get what you are telling me. Number one, you said we have waived off visas. First, Zambians must understand. Why have we waived off visas? Others were laughing. No, you're losing so much millions of kwacha. What are we losing? In the first place, we are not even having it. Because tourists were not coming to Zambia. Because of the visa you mentioned. So we were not having it. So it's better now they come in large numbers, because the visa will retard, deter, and stop other visas from coming. So now when you gave a good example about Mauritius. If you're going visa free, can I tell you what will happen? We'll have an influx of tourists. And how will Zambia benefit? Our hotels will be full. So job creation will be there for our waiters, waitresses, tour guides. When the hotels are full, bedtime there will be money. Laundry. Which tourists are you going to see washing? They will pay for laundry. Bar time, they will go and drink from there. Sightseeing, tourists and everything, that's where we're going to generate money. Not $100 or $50 or $20 they pay at the border. If one tourist, you charge them $20. Zambian kwacha is about 30 kwacha, is it? 30, yeah, it's 30. $20 times 15, yeah, 300 kwacha. So instead of 300 kwacha, we'll stop them from coming to their country. But they spend 5,000 kwacha in the country. There are 10 of them, 50,000. There are 100 of them, 500,000. Against a $20. This is the vision that we want to see. We want more to come, so they spend more in Zambia. They spend more nights. That's the reason why we've removed it. But when it comes to issues of work permit, I'll be very candid. Zambia cannot develop with Zambians alone. It's a global village. Like I said, partnership by joint ventures, because look, there was no deliberate policy in the past to make foreigners work with Zambians, but we are doing it under this government. People used to complain against Chinese, Americans, Europeans, all of them. They just come to use us. No, they don't use us. They take advantage of the situation because there is no government to bring us together. It is the reason why you saw the president officiate and bring together the Zambia-China Business Forum. So there is nothing to say these Chinese, these Zambians. Nothing to say them and us and them. It is collectively together. Where we want partnerships and joint ventures between Zambians and China, in a structured way we brought them together. The European and Zambians brought together. The Americans and Zambians brought together. Partnerships done together. Now, when you talk about work permits, indeed, there are jobs we can protect. That Zambians do and can do and are well skilled and trained. We can't just give visas to anybody, even for a job that Professor Dr. Luvinda, you can do. But there are some certain skills that cannot be done by Zambians. We need to bring them in. Let's say we want to open up a Chinese restaurant. How many Zambians can cook Chinese food? So if we bring a Chinese chef, we should give them a visa. But people will say, they're giving a chef a visa. When we got so many chefs, look, it's about a particular cuisine we are talking about. This is a specialized cuisine. We should give visas. And we are so focused to say we can't deny work permits if the skill we need it. And we should give, including Baba men. Yes. My hair is different from Lebanese hair. Because you don't know how to hold the machine. So we need a specialized barber to come into the country. It's not about the kind of job he's doing. It's about the speciality.
But we are seeing that in some companies, some accounting jobs are being held by foreigners, especially in big corporations. We have in big international corporations. They would prefer their own people to be in the accounting department when a Zambian can as well do that.
We should be very careful and sensitive on how we deal with these issues. We've got Zambian accountants heading serious corporations outside the country. There are some look, to do business, you should do it with people that you trust.
Yes, I wanted to say that. That's my also view.
Exactly.
If I open the company, yes, I have to
first you say, CHIPOKA to Ambenanku and do this. Okay? So I can assure you, we've got Zambians, drivers, so in other countries, Zambians. Why? Because the employer have got a history with them and they want to trust them for that. So it's about all these facets that you should put in place. Don't just say, oh, we are HTF. You can't do that. You will kill the business. And you should be very sensitive and careful on how you do these things. Because you can have a ripple effect in other places. So we should be very careful. We are a very responsible government. And we are protecting Zambian interests in Zambia and outside. That's how committed we are. But now issues I've heard as well. Even yesterday, I visited a certain industry where this business owner, foreign national, was getting frustrated to say, we can't get permits for our people. This is a specialized skill. Zambia is on a path of industrialization. We want to go where we've never been, an industrialized country. But to go to that destination, we need people who are already there to come and help us. The president has said, let's not reinvent the wheel. Let us learn from those who are already there to do it with us. But so if we deny work permits, how can they do it? Frustrations are there indeed. I will tell you why. Our brothers and sisters in the civil service should learn to play ball. Our pronouncements are clear. The minister will make a pronouncement. At the border, the agent will do something else. This is not a year to play TikTok, tit for tat. It's a year to implement. And we are very serious as a new Dawn government. Them that are not willing to implement what we are talking about, at the border, you delay tourists, you delay drivers, you delay truckers because you want to be felt that you are in charge. you are not part of the New Dawn administration. Because we are in a hurry to create jobs, we are in a hurry to create liquidity, but you are choking it. We can't do that. So my plea, Doc, is that those that are deliberately frustrating the efforts of speed of action cannot be with part of us. So we need to do fast things.
As a Zambian, I'm very passionate. I believe in saving the nation for prosperity. This is my country. If it's better, I'm better. We have had challenges as citizens. Yeah? Some of us are scared to do what you do, to go and stand on the podium and win elections. I'm scared. I don't want to do that. That's the way I am. We are different. Yeah. Yes, I like talk somewhere else, but I don't want to be involved. But we want to also help, for example. So in Zambia, we have noticed that when you come up with an idea, it's frustrated. We saw the president visited, had over 4 meetings with the Congolese president. We've seen the queues, from Chingola into Kasumbalesa. We still see, despite the fact that MOUs have been signed, Zambians are scared to go and trade in Congo, and the Congolese are also scared to come into Zambia. We are from the private sector. We want to do a forum. Can your ministry assure that you can support such a thing without having to be blocked, to be what? Because we're not asking for money. All we want is to make it easy for us to be able to interact with a neighboring country, because that's what a country is all about.
Doc, I'll tell you something. Our government is private sector driven economy. That's what we want to do. And you're the private sector. When you come with such initiatives, it will affect people. But engage government about your ambitions and we'll support you. And we are so keen in supporting such agendas. It's you, the private sector, we want to come and implement our vision. But I need to correct one thing, Doc, that you have said. Congolese are not scared to come into Zambia. On the contrary, it is the other way around. They have come into Zambia to do business. Zambia is peaceful, Zambia is okay, and everything. But I agree with you. They are queues, time and again, from Kasumbalesa into Chingola, sometimes even Chambishi. I will explain the reason why. It is not Zambian government's problem that necessitates that. That's why, as you see me right now, as Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, I've called all SADC ministers of trade to come and have a meeting with us and resolve that problem. The problem has always been on our colleague's side. I will not discuss it so much. I will allow that to be discussed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. But we've always a challenge on the other side. Our agencies on the Zambian side, my ministry, which is responsible for border management, in collaboration with Ministry of Finance, ZRA, Immigration for Home Affairs, and other agencies, we do everything that we have to do to facilitate ease of trade. But the challenge comes on the other side. But we have called countries, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, DRC itself, all the SADC countries, so that we sit and resolve that issue. Because Zambia now plays host to all these countries because of their failure and fear to cross over. And when we play host, there are challenges that result. Road carnages, sanitation, among other things which drivers are subjected to. And it costs our government to provide for those people. So I want us to sit, because in the past in years, they have not brought brothers and sisters together. So let's discuss this issue. But I want to tell my brothers from Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, South Africa, and Zimbabwe to say, oh, these are your drivers too. Can we interact with our brothers in the DRC so that we resolve this problem? Because those truckers, they incur costs which translate on companies and countries. We need to keep the wheels of the economy running. As Minister of Commerce, it bends and it hits my heart to see trucks not moving. It's loss of revenue. I want everyday trucks to be passing. Then I see we are earning every time a truck passes. When I see that, I don't see traffic congestion. I see loss of revenue. When I see wheels moving, I see a job created for a teacher. I see a job created for a police officer. I see an industry set up. So I've called all these people that we see how we can resolve it.
Let me open the phone lines.
We forgot about the phone lines.
Yeah, we forgot about it. You can call responding on the numbers that are appearing on the screen. We can also read your messages, send them to the numbers that are appearing on the screen. This has been a very fruitful
Indeed.
discussion. Director, maybe we can check the messages. Good evening, Honorable CHIPOKA. Keep it up with the good works. New Dawn government doing great. PS Akafumba did a noble thing to bring you closer to the President HH Lupindula.
Thank you.
Honorable, shed more light on those under pensions. Do they also qualify like NAPSA?
What does that mean?
I think it means those are on other pension schemes apart from NAPSA.
It's not only NAPSA we're discussing.
It's only NAPSA. I'm sure this one has been answered. Mr. Mulenga, you are an asset to this nation. I like the way you articulate issues. Kudos to President HH to have identified your potential. Thanks to you for your explanation on NAPSA upcoming reforms. J. Tembo Katete.
Thank you.
Minister, why are the pension reforms centered on NAPSA only, forgetting other pension houses such as PSPF, PSPF, which has a lot of employees?
Okay.
Director, let's pick up also our first caller, then we'll react to that. Yes, your name and where you're calling from? I think our director has at the...
So to answer to that question, where they said, why have you only picked up on NAPSA and are leaving out others? We are getting started. Zambians...
Hello?
Okay, yes, good evening. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Luansha, Mukandawele is my name.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm enjoying the program. Good evening, Honorable CHIPOKA Mulenga.
Good evening, sir. Mr. Mukandawile, how is Luansha?
Hello. Good evening.
I can hear you, sir. Good evening. How is Luansha?
Luansha is good.
Thank you, sir.
I just want to comment on some of the issues that you have touched.
Yes, sir.
Number one, something to do with NAPSA. You have mentioned, of course, that like it was mentioned there, that the percentage is too low to access. But we are looking at the figure which the public servants actually get on retirement. Very, very few will retire with $1 million plus. The majority retire with less than $1 million. Now, if you are going to give these servants a 20% of what is due to them, obviously that will be too low. That's why we are saying it is too low. Now, it's better to consider a bigger percentage looking at how much one will retire with. Because people's salaries are very, very little. Number two, I want to look at the CDF in passing. The committees that we have at the district who are dealing with this CDF, I think something must be done because the concentration is on the forming cooperatives. And
Thank you. I think we have gotten the point.
Okay, let me quickly answer to that one I was talking about. We've started with NAPSA. Look, it's work in progress. I'll take it to the Minister of Labour to say this is the concern. But as a government, trust me, we haven't stopped yet. More good things are coming. It's a concern. I'll take it up for consideration.
So, just on that same note, I hope you finished.
I'm okay.
Yes, he spoke about PSPF and NAPSA, and there is a bit of discrepancies between NAPSA and PSPF, saying PSPF has better conditions as compared to NAPSA, while we find ourselves in the same labor force. Some are getting better packages and some are not.
Those now are specifics which I will allow the Minister of Labour to delve into, because it's got nothing to do with my portfolio as Minister of Economics. But it's about, if you disperse the money, I'll talk about it. But when you say these conditions and everything, it's not my portfolio. So I'll allow the minister to dwell in it. Yes. But now coming to the aspect that Mr. Mukandawire from Luansha said. By the way, I lived in Luansha at one time in Zaone, Kamirenda, and the Mpatamatu.
In Ghana, sir.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I know the place. Yes. I lived there. Kuma 24 Kolanga and Mpatamatu. Mr. Mukandawire has spoken about NAPSA and CDF. Indeed, NAPSA, I think I won't talk about because I've said what we can do about it. It's a work in progress from Mukandawire. We just can't start with a bang, we can crash. Let us start and see how it is going, and we see how it materializes. But it's a point worth to take for consideration.
Yes, so then where are you calling from? Hello, your name and where are you calling from? You are through to Kame TV, yes?
Good evening, this is the from Martina.
From where?
CHIPOKA. This is Lena Tingwera.
Over Karamba Mlishan.
Yes, I would like to speak on the issue of foreigners in the mind.
I can't hear him clearly.
You want to talk about foreigners working in the mines?
I don't know if you there are talking about maybe just 50 years, purchase and Zambians are left back.
Okay, we have heard your point.
I need to answer to conclude just on the aspect here, Mukandawire, when he talks about CDF,
yes,
to say we should choose these committees properly because they focus on this. But Mukandawire, I will take that issue back to yourself. And I'm blessed that I'm a member of parliament, so I know how CDF committees are chosen. The MP will choose some, about 2, then others will come from the council and the rest of them. But how they prioritize projects, they never mumush. In the constituency, we've got what we call ward development committees. These are resident in wards where people say, "Muno mwadi, if langayaloka, if danki fila kwasa sana." So what should we prioritize to be helped? Oh, unblocking of the sewer line. So let's do the drainage. Then they take it to the CDF committee, and the CDF committee engages also with the MP to go and lobby for money, and they implement it. So it is more than a kubansho kobane. Look at what you are prioritizing. Like in my constituency, I've got bridges which are not functional. We are working on bridges. I've got schools which we could not build. Like we've got places like a clinic, Munsenga ward, as you just enter Chingola. There was a clinic there. There is a clinic there, but no maternity ward. My councillor there, Mbalama, is always using his vehicle as an ambulance, and people are delivering in his car. Now people said, we want to have a maternity wing here. We are building a maternity wing. And that's what the president has been saying. No health center should be without a maternity wing. Our women should be respected. So it's about what the ward development committees take to the CDF and implement. The MP will only go and lobby for money to come and make it available for them. So how they structure it is focusing on cooperatives. They are focusing on what? Vene. Utego gwena bwali twalenda lama kurwanshe shingi. Nakutaka George we kumpata makola kuroni na bambia wa UPND kula kurwansha central. It's about the president has given all the money, but it's about every about tatala Mukandawire na vena Rwansha what priority sectors they want to use to develop. Thank you.
Director, do you have any messages? I think we shall be releasing the Honorable Minister very soon. Good evening, panel. Honorable, your answer to the nation. The opposition who looted from the country may not even understand that explanation. The opposition misinforming people. Keep talking because you inherited a broken economy. SK from Kitwe.
Thank you, SK. Congratulations na paku inakuacha seat.
HH has credible ministers. Please continue reforming this country. May the Lord God give you more wisdom and grace to take this country in the right direction. God bless Zambia.
Thank you.
That's our hard-working Minister, Honorable CHIPOKA. Wabantu, well articulates national issues. Happy birthday to you, Honorable Felix Chembe, aka Mr. I1BO from Chingola.
Thank you.
Good evening, Doctor. When are you hosting Transport Minister? We have issues with him. When the problem coming out. Good evening, Honorable. We thank God for your life. Indeed, you were born to do it. Elizabeth Piri Chingola.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mulenga, sir. I'm following the program and indeed it's fruitful. My concern is the congestion caused by Kasumbalesa border post. You explained very well on how SADC are working on resolving the challenges. When is it likely to be resolved and see resources being put to use and move on as a nation? Perfias Saputo Woodlands Lusaka.
Okay.
How many years should someone work for? Him or her? How many years should someone work for them to have access to a partial withdrawal from NAPSA? I'm sure that's what they mean.
Yeah. It is, okay.
20% is still due to 50% could have been better.
Okay.
The minister has explained this. Good evening. Is the partial withdrawal of money applied to only those serving with NAPSA and not those serving with other pensions? I think you have clarified this, Honorable. When will this partial withdrawal be rolled out? Nyangu JJ from Ibenga Mpongwe district.
It's going to Parliament. When Parliament, that's why parliamentarians, opposition, UPND and independent, once they agree that this should go through, UPND leaders, MPs, they are for the idea. So now we're also asking that, including the PFU leaders, they should see that there is sense in this. Our people should have money. So the Zambian people, also from your respective constituents, engage the PF MPs to accept that we do this, as well as independents. Because if they shoot it down, because they see it's a UPND agenda, and UPND will get prepared, it is wrong. It's the Zambian people's agenda. So once it goes through Parliament and everything, you will see, it will be done anyway. Let me not even discuss more about it. But
does this need
well, let me not even discuss more about it. Let me allow the Minister of Labour to come and give clarity on this one, yes.
Okay. Director
Any? If you finish that.
if any, good evening. Are those on monthly pension going to be eligible for partial withdrawal? I think that's all.
Yeah.
One last question. How much time are we left with, Doc?
Let's give it 5 minutes maximum. The minister has to go.
Okay. So Zambians are passionate about agriculture, and we see that we've been trying to revamp the agriculture sector or grow it per se. And we spoke about industrialization. What is the ministry, or rather the New Dawn government, doing around that, where we heavily get machinery into our agriculture sector so that we can produce more, form more industries and export more?
The more reason why the government has zero-rated manufacturing equipment. We want to bring in even new Zambians here sitting on this panel, and once ever they tune for Wamkanda Wide, Wawan Bob Chingolo, Konava Elizabeth, and all of them that are tuning from whichever place.
And the last call. We were very lucky. That's last call.
Hello?
Yes, your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, make your contribution. Where are you calling from?
It's not even no comment to me now.
Hello, Joe?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead. You can go ahead, sir.
Joe, can you hear me?
You can go ahead. Honorable, I think that was our last call. Honorable Minister, this is my last question. I've seen a lot of funds coming up. There's CDF, the empowerment funds in that. There's CEC, they have been very active. The colleague that has been given the job has been very active, and also engaging the universities to see how we can work together. We have seen monies being offered to students from government for new innovations. So all these funds are coming. How is government making it easy so that all the youth that are there, a lot of ideas are there with the youth, can be able to, one, know about these funds, and also even access them.
Okay. When we talk about number one, listen how we are building this economy. While Zambians want to have so much money in their pockets, but there are fewer jobs, how do we make sure that the little salary they get remains in their pocket? Government has started paying for their children in universities. Instead of on a monthly basis, Doc, when you get paid, you send money for a child at school, government says we'll give them. So that money which you used to pay for them and send for school is now left. You can buy a pocket of cement. But this money is very open. We are a very transparent government. No corruption in place. These teachers and doctors and the rest who are employed, system so transparent, including the same people who say it cannot be done, the PF, they've got jobs. Their children and relatives have got jobs. Without Tuliemon Chekelako, did you even hear it was no, it is not happening. It is open because we are here to save not only UPND cadres like myself, including UNIP cadres and everyone else. So the system is very transparent. Apply and you access. When you talk about the CDF fund, we don't look pampum ya muntu. We are even concerned in our never shot vote to come on board and apply, and they will get. The application system is very transparent. We are leaders that are saving this. Our bosses, the Zambian people that voted for us, including those that did not vote for us. So it is very open. When you go to CEC, my brother Honorable Asmanga, he'll come and tell you more. It is an open, transparent. Why I'm talking about even of CEC? Because our leader, the president, has said, I am president for all Zambians. They said, we are now even more united. There is nothing to say. We are brothers. We are one. Look at the cabinet itself. CHIPOKA MULENGA. Here I am as your minister. Go to the Minister of Mines. Go to the Minister of Local Government. Go to the Minister of Defense. All these are different tribes have spoken about working together. No division. That is how united we are. It is the same thing that we want to offer services to the people. Irrespective of your region, what you do, everything should be accorded to every Zambian. So my Zambian people, have faith. We have just started. We will do a lot of things together. 1 year, you have understood what we can do. In the next years ahead, we want to implement together. Come on board, let's work together. They want to distract the Zambians' attention from good things that are happening and talk about trivial things and maliciously make lies. We are here.
Honorable Minister, thank you very much for coming. It's very much still, I'm sure you are vet. You are watching Economic Briefcase on Kamet TV. See you next week. Honorable Minister, once more, thank you for coming. My co-host,
Thank you.
And using my what? my these ways, we have just gotten the Honorable Power go ahead to organize the Congo Zambia Business Forum so that we can speak without government, private sector to private sector.
Definitely, it's on schedule.
Yes, whatever NAPSA you have had, people that were concerned on KCM or PAN you have had, we'll try to bring you more, cabinet ministers to come and explain what is happening, in the country. For now, that is bye-bye. Continue watching Kamet TV because Kamet TV is not just another channel. Bye-bye.